appointed me a public attorney. I mean, a public whatever that much shit is
Public
called,
defender.
a public defender. Yeah, his name was Lawrence Fate. Come to find out, man, that dude was better. He was 10 times better than that private attorney that I hired. And due to the fact that I had two murder case, I mean two different cases, even though I hired the first lawyer, Julian Fox, Lawrence Fate would still come to my trial or pop in when he could because he still had an investment in my second case because initially I only hired the first lawyer for the first attempted murder thing. So he would still come in there. And he would tell me all the time, hey man, I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing. His strategy might be different from mine, but I wouldn't do this. So like I said, man, the public defender was better than the private lawyer. So it's and by Big U facing so much, it might be best, because only you know your case like you know your case. Sometimes these other lawyers, they got different clients and they can't give your case the attention it really needs when your life is on the line.
So I do want to also throw this into the mix as well. There's this. I don't know how closely you've been following the Big U trial, but there's a part where they're looking for the. Oh, just on the tip of my tongue. When you can see everybody who's snitching on you. Yeah.
Oh, it's called discovery.
Discovery. I don't know why I was just having a hard word with that. Yeah, he's waiting on the discovery, but the discovery is a private discovery, and they're only allowed to see it with the attorney present. So by him dismissing his attorney and representing himself, he's now playing both the attorney and inmate. So now he gets the discovery. So
which is a smart move. Go ahead.
No, I was finna say, so just to give you that new piece of information, and this is just one of my theories, what better way for everybody to know who's telling on you than by you firing your lawyer? Now they got to give it to you because you're your own lawyer and you just play chess with the court system.
No, most definitely, right. And I told a story somewhat similar to that. I'm trying to remember because when I do a story on YouTube, I just make the title up, when I'm finished with the story. But oh yeah, the name of that story was He Told Him and He Told the DA. And so I ran into a similar situation. It was a dude by the name of Bobby Johnson in Billings, Montana, where I was out there in '89. From '89 until '94, I was out there hustling, selling dope. So I meet Bobby Johnson's daughter. At the time I get out there, Bobby Johnson is locked up for a rape. They didn't gave him a rape case out there on a minor or some stuff like that. I end up meeting his daughter. He had a beautiful daughter. She was black and white, beautiful. She was in a girl's home. Some girl goes to the girl's home. She's telling her, hey, there's this new black guy from California and blah, blah, blah. So when she gets out the girl's home, his daughter, Jennifer Norris, she's in love with me and ain't seen me a day. So I go to messing with her, talking to her and this and this and that. She tells me about her father. Her father was, like I said, in jail for rape. At the time, they had his, and she's telling me, oh, he didn't do it. My dad didn't do it. They had his case on hard copy. Hard copy back then was somewhat like TMZ or something like that. So anyway, long story short, the dad ends up getting out of jail. The semen that they found in the panties did not match him. So he ends up filing an appeal. They let him out. This dude was this dude was sharp. He was like a lawyer. So they let him out on an appeals bond. So while he's out, he fucks around and he slaps a broad or whatever. So they have violated his appeals bond. They send him back to, now he has to go fight his case from the county jail. They happen to raid my house. I get caught up. So I go to the county jail. So anyway, I end up running across Bobby Johnson and he's doing his legal beagle thing. And he was his own lawyer, and he had anybody who had anything to do with his case. He had, like Rich Trapper was talking about, he had the discovery. He had all the information in his case. Come to find out, there was a girl by the name of Stacy Klein. She was a hoe out there. It was a white boy named Eric. Eric was from Redlands, California. Eric and his crimey picked this hoe up, and they shot her 18 or 19 times and killed her. Damn. And left her out there in the field or whatever. They end up getting caught. Eric is from Redlands. His crimey is a rich white boy from out there from Billings. So he hires the best lawyer. It was a lawyer by the name of Timer Moses. At that time, Timer, they used to call him Old Timer. Timer was in retirement, and his sons was running the firm. This damn near sound like one of the, what's that white boy that writes all them legal books and stories about legal?
James Patterson?
He, no,
No,
he
not
had
James
he had the
Patterson.
movie A Time to Kill.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this
Is that no? That's not Quentin
anyway,
Tarantino. It don't matter. Go
it's not
ahead.
John. It's Stanford. Anyway, this damn near sound like something this dude could have wrote. So this dude, he has his two sons run. Old Timer Moses has his two sons running the legal business. This dude's family was rich enough to bring Timer Moses out of retirement. Now the white dude from Redlands, California, Eric, he got a public defender. So Bobby Norris, the legal beagle, he was a black dude. Bobby Norris, he calls me to the cell one day. He said, "Hey, chill, man. Look, I just came back from court. I got some information you can use." He said, "Man, the broad that got killed, Stacy Klein." He said she went to your house and she wore a wire. She was trying to set you up. I wasn't there at the time. I had moved out and let my homie OZ live up in there. She said, "Man, she wore a wire on OZ." And he showed me the transcripts and everything, right? Because due to the fact that he was representing himself, he got anybody that had anything to do with his trial, he got the information on all them dudes, right? So fortunately, she wore a wire on OZ, a dude from Oakland who was out there named Clarence, a pimp by the name of Rufus. She wore wires on all these dudes and had bought drugs from these dudes. So had she not got killed, those dudes would have caught cases. He had all this information though. So he showed me the information, right? Long story short with him, one day I'm reading the newspaper. Like I say, I'm still in the county jail. 2 or 3 days before that, Bobby Norris had disappeared. Now, all the time Bobby Norris is going to trial, it's looking like he's supposed to beat his case. He's showing us these legal definitions. Hey, man, look, I'm supposed to get all this money every day that they have the wrongly incarcerated. You know, you got to get X amount of dollars. He's showing us all this in the legal books. So 2 or 3 days before this, he disappears. I get the newspaper, I'm reading where now all the time too, he's walking and talking with this white boy named Eric. They walking and they don't never go outside. All day long, they just walk. They just walk and talk all day long. All day long, they just walk and talk. Long story short, man, this white dude told Bobby Norris all this information about his case, where they hid the guns at. One day we in there watching TV, they make an announcement. The guns have been found in the murder of Stacy Klein.
Damn.
All this stuff this white dude is telling Bobby is going and telling the district attorney. So 2 or 3 days later, so Bobby disappears. 2 or 3 days later, I'm reading the newspaper, and at the end of the article, it says Bobby is going to be he's going to be the DA's star witness against the white dude and his crimey, because he had relayed all this information to him, man. So I called the white dude over. I said, "Hey, man, look, Bobby telling on you." I did this dude the newspaper. This dude read it. The article was long. At the end, it said, he was going to testify against. No, yes, right. The article said that Bobby Norris had pled guilty to that rape. So now we like, damn, why would he plead guilty? Because now he don't get none of that money that he's talking about. And at the end, it said that he also is going to be a star witness against Eric or whatever. When Eric get to that part, that motherfucker faint. He fall flat out. Bam! That motherfucker fall flat out because he know it's through. He know he through. So Bobby testifies against Eric. Eric gets a gang of time. Him and that other dude, they get found guilty. About 6 months later, I'm out there on the street. I happened to run into his daughter, Jennifer. I said, "Hey, man, what's up with your dad?" She said, "Oh, that fucking asshole. He caught another rape. They caught this nigga in Ohio. They caught him in Ohio. A car was speeding. The police pulled the car open. They got his ass tied up in the trunk. They going to kill him. He didn't rape their little daughter or whatever." So, Bobby Norris, he looked like he might have been guilty of that first case from the get-go. But I say all that to say, man, yeah. So if you represent yourself, you can have all the, everything that's in the everything that has something to do with the case. And it's a trip, right? On YouTube, somebody said, when I did that story 3 years ago, "Hey, Chill, I thought that you was lying, man." He looked that dude, Bobby Norris, up in YouTube on the computer, and sure enough, all that information about that rape and all that stuff in Ohio was on the computer. His name was Bobby Norris. So yeah, it's but when you represent yourself, you get all the legal documents.
So would you say that it's probably a smarter idea for him to represent himself, considering his age, what he may or may not know about the case as far as what his own personal situation is? I would say by him taking that strategy would kind of assume that you know, there's a message that he wants to get out to the public regards to other people's cooperation in this situation?
Right. Well, you know, I mean, considering the punishment will be so severe if he's found guilty, I don't necessarily know if it's a great thing because you're still not going to know in that short amount of time. Bobby was studying law for about 10, 15 years. In that short amount of time, you're still not going to know everything about, you know, what you should and what you shouldn't do and stuff like that. And so, you know, you're gonna work diligently and you're gonna study and look into all that stuff, but you still have to have, you know, some sense of how the law works. Maybe Big U will file 3 motions when he should have filed 6 motions. I mean, so when you don't know necessarily what you're doing, you know, it's still a tough situation. Now, is he not getting a lawyer because he don't have the money, or is he not getting a lawyer because he feels he can do a better job? You know, it's a deep situation. But like I said, at the end of the day, the punishment is so severe that, you know, you definitely want to make sure you know what you're doing. I've heard of situations like that sometimes where an individual will represent himself, but they still will appoint you a public defender in somewhat of a legal advisor or something like that. So, you know, it's definitely a ugly situation.
All right, chill. Well, man, I'm gonna let you go ahead and get up out of here. It's not really too much more going on in the chat. We definitely do appreciate your time. Anything you want to give us last words? Let us know where we can find you on all social media platforms. Find your music and all that.
Yeah, man. So be sure just to check me out on YouTube, man. 16DALIFE. And I'm telling you, man, if you go back, because I've been telling stories for about 4 years. So I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as stories are concerned. But if you want to hear some good stories, riots, funny, hilarious type stories, man, go check out some of my older content. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. I do impressions. I got stories from when I was out there hustling in Montana, in Billings, Montana. It was a gang of pimps out there, a lot of real funny dudes. I got some funny stories, man. So go check that out. And I rap. A lot of motherfuckers say, oh, especially when I told them I started rapping, oh man, we don't want to hear you rap, OG, you too old. I'm telling you, man, I get active on that mic. Go check me out. Go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down to gas stations. You will find a lot of my music there. I also got 2 songs on all the streaming sites. One is called Never Gave Me Therapy, and another one is called Rather Be a Square. I'm telling you, if you check me out, you definitely gonna be pleasantly surprised, man. So yeah, check your boy out. 16DALIFE on YouTube.
All right, man. We up out of to the next one. Y'all know the deal. Is Rich Trapper signing out. CNN Trap News Network. We up out of here. Chill. We appreciate your time, brother. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for having me.